Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Day Trading Institution. I hope you guys have enjoyed the course so far. So now you're in the psychology section of the course, which is pretty much near the end of the actual course itself. So literally this entire section, I'm solely just going to be speaking on trading psychology and what trading overall kind of just is. Now, when you actually start the world of trading and you finally actually get into it, a lot of people are going to have the impression that trading is really a game of technical analysis when it could be that could be the farthest from the truth. My bad, guys. I literally just shaved and I'm laughing. That's besides the point. Anyways, that is literally the farthest from the truth. Trading is a game of mindset and psychology and being able to manage your emotions. If I were to put trading on a scale of an 100% scale, right, money management and technical analysis probably makes up about 20% of what trading actually is. The other 80% of what trading actually is being able to just simply control your emotions, because what you're going to experience when you first start trading is when you actually start trading your own money and you actually have live capital at risk. You're going to go through a complete different range of emotions. You're going to go through fear of missing money. You're going to be going through a fear of losing money. You're going to be greedy. You're going to learn all these emotions, and you really have to be able to master your emotions as best as possible when you're actually trading. There's so many different things that I could talk about. It's kind of hard to kind of pick and choose where to actually go when it comes down to what type of emotions you're going to feel. Again, the main feelings that you're going to feel when it actually comes down to trading is fear and greed. The fear of losing money, and then greed, the wanting to make more money. There's been so many times where I've taken a trade where you're kind of like, it's blown past my take profit. This is the area that I want to take it out, and the trade keeps going in your favor. You're like, oh, I want more, I want more, I want more, right? Let me tell you guys how I kind of ruined a six-figure trading day for myself. So it came to a point where I was up roughly $90,000 on a specific trade. And I was like, okay, the market has the potential to drop to here. Price ended up hitting a level of support. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to hold, because in the long term, I see price continuing to go down. And slowly but surely, my $90,000 turned to 85, then turned to 80, then turned to 75, then turned to 70 grand. And it was at a point where I was like, damn, I just threw away $20,000 worth of profit. And I just started thinking about it. I'm kind of like, well, $20,000 covers the expense of my cars. $20,000 covers, my mortgage for a few months. $20,000. I could have gone out and bought a new exhaust for my car, bought a new hood. $20,000 could have paid for the landscaping that I did on my house. Like, there's a range of emotions that I went through when going from a $90,000 profit to a $80,000 profit, then a $70,000 profit. Then it goes, damn, I just let the market, I pretty much gave back the market $30,000, when then I ultimately ended up closing at about a $60,000 gain. It was probably like $55,000 around there where I ended up closing it, and I felt so upset. I was so disappointed with myself that I let myself pretty much ruin a $90,000 day. Because with my target, right, as traders, we know where we're going to get out if we're wrong and where we're going to get out if we're right. Price had already gotten to a point where I was like, this is where I'm getting out if I'm right, and price blew past that. Where I was supposed to get out if I was right, I was at about an $80,000 profit, and price kept going. Then I was at 90 grand, and I was like, maybe if I hold this for a little bit longer, I could have the potential of making an extra $100,000, right? And I let the trade come back almost 50% on me. Just imagine the emotions that you're going to go through when you close that trade, right? You know how hard it was for me to close that trade once I actually started seeing price go against me? Because I'm like, you kind of start making excuses. You're like, no, price will kind of continue going down, right? We're still in a bearish trend. But the thing about trading is you don't know when the trend is going to change, right? You will only know when the trend is changing when you actually start seeing real signs of the trend changing. But when you have live money at risk, it's literally like putting goggles on. It's literally almost like being drunk, where you're no longer thinking as logically as you were if you were sober, right? So you have to be able to understand all the emotions that you're going to be going through, interpret them, and learn from your mistakes, which is what's more important, right? So when it came down to that trading day, just put yourself in my position where you're up $90,000 on your account and you let the trade come back to you, you close at a $55,000 gain. Sure, $55,000 is still amazing money, but I was risking like $15,000 on that trade. I still did get a good risk reward ratio out of it, but like 15 to 20 grand risk for a $50,000 risk ultimately isn't too much. It's like a 2.5 risk to reward ratio when I was up almost like 5-6 times my risk, right? You want to think about trading as a game of I'm going to be paying for my next trades, right? And when it comes down to you actually taking positions, and before I continue, let me actually finish my example here. So just put yourself again in the position where you're up 90 grand and you went all the way down and you closed at a $55,000 gain and you basically gave the market back $40,000. Just imagine what you could do with a potential $40,000, an extra $40,000 to your name. There's so many things you could do. You could go buy a new car. You could help pay your mortgage off. There's so many things you could do. And it was that greed of me wanting more from the market, which ultimately caused the demise of that trade. Just because I wanted a 6-figure day when I was already up almost 90 grand, I gave back $40,000 because of that mistake. That mistake costed me tens of thousands of dollars. What did I learn from it? Trail your stops. I'm never giving back 50% of my profit to the market ever again. That was another rule I put in my trading plan, which you guys can incorporate into your trading plan as well. You know, if you're up, let's say $6,000, I'm not giving back more than $3,000 to the market, which is 50% of you know what your equity gain currently is, because you want to give the market enough room to breathe. And the way I see trading nowadays is I want a single trade to pay for my next 5-6 trades, and that's how I started shifting my trading. Right? That's the type of mindset you want to incorporate. You want your one trade to pay for your next 6 trades. What do I mean by that? Right? Let's say you have a $10,000 account and you're risking $100 a trade, meaning you're risking 1% a trade. You want that one trade to pay for your next 3-4 trades, 5 trades, 6 trades, whatever the case might be is. Meaning that you're going to be risking $100 to try and make $300, $400, $500, $600, right? And that's the trading methodology that I want to incorporate and really install in your guys' psychology in terms of trading. I don't want you guys to just come in the market and be like, yeah, I want to try and make $1,000 a day, when realistically you always want to look at the risk to reward ratio of a trade. I will not take a trade unless I'm going to gain 2.5 times my risk, meaning that if I can risk $1,000 on this specific trade, I'm going to gain 2.5K because at least I have the next 2.5 trades paid for. Why do I care about that? One, because it leaves me in the game for longer, and two, it pays for my next few trades, meaning in the sense of, okay, if I lose 2 trades in a row, at least I don't wipe out all of those profits, right? You want to be able to survive a losing streak of 2, 3, 4, 5 trades and your profits still aren't wiped out. You want to be able to stay in the game as long as you possibly could. Now, when it comes down to the psychology section of the course, again, it's mainly just going to be videos of me talking. I'm not going to be making these videos super long, so they're a little bit more enjoyable, and you guys could actually watch the video and pay full attention and detail to every single thing that I'm saying. If you guys, I'm going to have a psychology section in the Discord, right? So if you guys want me to touch up on certain psychology topics, just put it in the Discord and I'll get to everybody. So hopefully everybody does enjoy the psychology section. You can listen to it while you're driving your car, or whatever the case might be. Is just understand that trading is a game of mindset and being able to control your emotions, because you're going to get good at learning technical analysis. You're going to get good at reading price action. At some point in time, reading price action and performing technical analysis is a skill that anybody can develop. Let me turn this computer screen off. Reading technical analysis is a skill that anybody can develop. Reading price is a skill that anybody can develop, and especially over a prolonged period of time, your learning curve for technical analysis is just going to get like this. There's no way you could lose skill on technical analysis, right? But when it comes down to trading psychology, the thing about it is every single time you make more money, you're going to reach new hurdles. For example, when you start managing $10,000, ultimately at some point in time, that $10,000 you're going to turn into $20,000. Once you turn those 10 into 20, you're going to hit another psychological barrier, because the risk on the account that you're doing, even though it may be the same 2%, it's worth more. You're no longer risking $200 a trade, you're now risking $400 a trade, which means right when you place that trade, immediately you're going to be losing more money because of spread, because you're using bigger lot sizes. And ultimately, you're going to start seeing more money, causing you to be more greedy. So you have to be able to really put your emotions at bay as best as possible, and think as logically as possible, and think about how can I find the best trading setups possible, the highest probability setups. Just imagine you managing 10,000 and starting to manage 100,000. Literally, it's a completely different ball game, especially when you start going for the bigger figures, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000. It's a completely different ball game. You're not just going to level up overnight. Just know that, again, trading is a marathon, not a sprint. And I hope we'll talk to everybody in the next video.